most people, when I was young, I wanted to get into the music business. I was watching music videos, and I was like, okay, yes, I could do some of this stuff. We formed a small rap group in the 90s. It kind of gives you a hint about my age, so let me not go more into detail. And that was in Lagos. I was the worst rapper ever. So I was more like the hype man. There were two other guys that were better than me, and it was the time when Ray Power was starting off. So our claim to fame was doing like a Ray Power jingle. We used Tupac's Dear Mama. We used it, and we did like a Nigerian version jingle. It played a few times. We became at least local celebrities, at least around my area. That was Bagada Oworo, you know. But it never happened. So after secondary school, I was supposed to go into Unilag, but for some reason or the other, my parents decided not to, and I went to study in Finland. While studying in Finland, like I guess most people abroad, you know, when you're that age, you do kind of medial jobs, and I was like, there has to be a better way to make some money. So I remembered my passion for music and events and entertainment, so I found my way back to it. I tried again. I tried to be an artist. I was a terrible artist. I remembered that I've always kind of also enjoyed the business side of music. I was this guy that, you know, even late nights I used to record tracks, you know, from the radio with my cassette player. Not only record, but I always remembered who the producer was, you know, who the songwriter was, who the artist was. So this was before Google. So people used to come to my house and ask that, oh, that guy that sing that song, who was he? And I always knew the answer. So I had this nickname of being a DJ. So I was like, okay, at least if I can't sing, if I can't rap, let me get to the business part of things. So I got into artist management. It was very interesting listening to the previous panelists talk about rights and stuff. And, you know, I think there were some key points made here that, you know, it still needs a bit of work. Got into artist management, found a few artists. It didn't work out much. Then got a lucky break. So one of the artist's cousin came to the studio often, was a young guy, about 15, 16, and was like, he's interested in doing something in music, but we didn't know what. So the guy did a bit of singing, rapping. Okay, we realized that, okay, this guy might have a bit of potential. And we started pushing him. Usually, which is the story of most artists, I guess, you know, no big record label believes in him or her. You know, you have to go independent in a way. You try to push your artist forward. And like I said, we did a lot of things right, a lot of things wrong. But, you know, to cut the story short, the artist came fairly big. We found out that actually being independent made a bit of sense. Because I'll give you numbers. I mean, you guys, the landscape is so different nowadays. Then we used to sell CDs, and I can tell that selling CDs sounds kind of much better than, you know, what, you know, a lot of people are doing now. Of course, this wasn't in Nigeria, so Nigeria doesn't really have that history of selling CDs. So we sold CDs, made about $5 to $6 per CD, and yeah, you know, sold 20,000, 30, 40, about 150,000 in total. So yes, you know, the numbers are clear, which kind of goes to the point I'm going back into. So the landscape now has changed. Yes, we talk about digital, but the basic principles I think still makes the same sense. You know, so basically what I'm trying to say is that, you know, we think about popularity, but like people talk about, it's also a business. So really to think about how, you make the business. We made business by selling CDs. We made business by doing partnerships, Digital was just coming up. We didn't make much money on that. So I think what I'm also trying to bring forward is that you look at how Nigerian artists make money now. I mean, there are experts in the room that will tell you. From my view, what I've seen as an opportunity is really, harnessing the opportunities also, abroad. And it doesn't mean that you need to get popular, you need to be big. We have a few artists I personally know, that have a Nigerian background in the Nordic countries. So basically with Nordic countries, I mean Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark can be added into it. Yes, there's avenues of making money. The difference there in many cases is that a lot of people are willing to pay for shows. A lot of people are willing to pay for entertainment, which always is not the case, here. Yes, certain things you pay for, but I mean a normal concert, for example, in Finland, you go to a normal concert, people are ready to pay 20 or 30 euros for it. So you just do your math, you see that the calculation is quite easy. At least most of the shows I go here, I don't know if I get to pay. Most of them are sponsor driven, which is, I guess, the normal scenario. So back to the ease. So I think first thing is to really look at the avenues of making money, which I call imitation. Imitation, I don't mean with imitation, I don't mean copying. But if you look at every artist that came up, there's elements of studying the predecessors. Yes, the avenues of money might not be the same, but you copy. You find somebody that you like. You study that person. You study that artist. What did they do? What can I do? What can I do better? How do I combine? How do I use the talent I have? The second one, inspire. I mean, like all of us here, you have to believe in what you're, doing. There's a saying in sales and marketing that, when you are in a selling situation, you either convince the next person or the next person convinces you. So you have to choose that, which one you are. Can you convince the next person to buy your product, buy your service, buy your music? Then, I think, which is still the similar case now, you kind of convince music directors and the radio, and either you convince them or they convince you. So unfortunately, I don't have too much time, but if there's conversations or there's some questions, I would just like to answer a few of them, and hopefully I will be able to join you later to discuss a bit more on maybe there's some international partnerships we can do. We've done quite a few things with Nollywood artists in Nigeria. We haven't done that much with musical talents. Usually there's some form of conferences, some form of showcases, that there's even possibilities of getting support in the Nordic countries. So what I spoke with Dotun, that we might have a special or a different platform to kind of discuss, how those ones can be harnessed. So short and sweet. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Good morning, everyone. Oh, sorry. Good afternoon already. Good afternoon. Okay, so I'd like to first of all appreciate everyone has made that time to be here this Monday morning, and I understand we understand the stress and the traffic situation of Lagos State, and I mean we